Bing, bang, bong. And we're back. Welcome back to the Backyard Basketball Podcast.
Liquid smoke.
Presented by the Ordinary Podcasting Network. Chris, you're back. You're just on an endless journey.
Yeah. It's endless.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Back. You're in Ontario. You're visiting your nephews. You were trying to teach them how to play basketball, and you ended up just taking pictures of them.
Yeah. Well, they had a teacher, and it was this big gym, and there was all these different groups, and they were playing, and he was on Team Gray and Team Purple, and what they do at this like camp, it's I think for 12 weeks, so it goes till the end of December around Christmas time, and each week he learns a new thing, and they do drills for about an hour, and then after the hour they play a 4-on-4 game.
Oh, fun!
Yeah, it's super sweet.
Nice.
And he had some really good passes. There was this one guy who was on the team. His name was Michael. What a coincidence. He was really good. He was really good. Like he had moves. And he was, when, he'd go sit on the bench, he'd get up off the bench and he'd practice on the net.
Yeah. Well, it's Michael. Never end. What are we going to talk about today?
The first thing, dude, I want to bring up before we get to anything, because I just saw this about an hour ago. I don't know if you've seen this. LeBron is out versus the Spurs with ankle soreness.
What did he do?
So he didn't play. He's not playing the Spurs game. I remember watching this. So I was watching the Lakers and the Grizzlies play.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was last night or the night before. And it was like the second quarter, he had this collision with his ankle against Desmond Bane on Memphis.
Okay.
And it was the same ankle that, remember when he had that really bad injury? I think it was in the bubble, and it was against the Atlanta Hawks. It was Collison. They were going for the ball, and Collison literally like fell on his on his ankle, and he like instantly went down. I remember watching him being like, holy fuck, like you never seen LeBron in that kind of pain.
Dang.
He was just like, and I can't remember like how long he sat out or what the situation was, but I remember he made this comment. He said something along the lines where, yeah, I'm never going to be 100% again. Do you remember that? Like he was like,
yeah,
after this one injury, I'm only going to be like 80 or 90% LeBron.
So I am wondering like how much longer can LeBron's body last in this game? Only in so much, like we talked last week really briefly on the fact that he probably puts $2 million into the rehabilitation, and that's his work. It's his instrument, right? But we're seeing Tom Brady now, working his way to 50. And still, probably the best quarterback in the game. Like, I mean, undoubtedly, but like, as veterans age, they start to die out. We're starting to see it a little bit with Sidney Crosby. We're seeing, like that was a guy that was perennially an impact maker. Now he is still an impact maker. We're not going to talk too much about Crosby, but you're starting to see veterans start to slide. And at what point do you think LeBron's going to really start to let that happen?
Well, I think and there's a difference between want and, like you said, Mother Nature just running its course, father time, as it were. And of course, he wants to play. Always a days old story is that LeBron wants to play with his son, right? His son comes in, the contract sort of lines up with LeBron, ending his contract with Los Angeles. And then, either he has to come at this impasse with a decision if he's going to continue with the Lakers and retire, or wherever his son's drafted, goes and plays with his son.
So that's 2 years away?
I think so.
And that'll take him to 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
And think like, wasn't Karl Malone the last finals appearance he had? Wasn't he around 38 years old? I feel like he was old.
Yeah, he was. He was older for sure. I mean, a lot of veterans can get away with, and if they're good, like look at Vince Carter. He never won. Or no, did he? He won with Dallas, didn't he?
I don't think Vince Carter ever won.
Okay.
I don't think he ever won.
I just secretly hoped and wished he had. In my mind, he is always a winner. Anyhow,
is it crazy he's not on the freaking top 75? I'm just saying.
That is the one player that I was quite shocked about. Also, T-Mac. T-Mac was dominant in every stop that he had. But we're homers, so there's a bit of that.
What are you gonna do?
I guess. Who else do you think missed the boat there? Did Klay Thompson really deserve not to be on it?
I think Klay Thompson, when all is said and done, is going to be on that list. That's the reality of the situation. When he finishes his career and retires, he will be a top 75 player in the
sure.
NBA.
They'll probably never do a top 75 again, too. You know, the next one they'll probably land on is 80, and then it'll probably include him.
Oh, that'd be so salty. Because you're like, I don't know if I'm like, where am I ranked? These guys, they care about this shit, right? But I would put Klay Thompson in top 75 for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But who else was on that list? LeBron James. And LeBron James has got a chink in his armor.
Yeah,
like you're saying, the veneer starts to crack a little bit. And how long can you, when there's a few cracks in the ship, the hull of the ship, how long can you keep it afloat?
Well, that whole team is that vulnerable, man. Right? We saw it. Lakers so Westbrook, he's still a productive guy, but he's got the jitters right now. Maybe he's starstruck a little bit, like he can't believe that he's landed here and this is what's happening around him, but he has to turn it on or else this thing is not going to work.
He looks so disjointed, dude. Like he doesn't, a man without a paddle. I feel like he's so lost at what his skill set things should be within the team. I always get kind of fascinated by that. I see these guys, 2-on-2. Like I would love to see some video footage of them in practice, like doing scrimmage drills with all 5 of them, and then seeing how Westbrook fits or what the vision is. I know they'll figure it out as the season goes along, and he's going to figure it out eventually. He'll find a way to be able to fit in and make the most of the team. Yeah. But right now it is brutal to watch, man. Like it's so bad. Like just,
but hey, they got Anthony Davis.
Dude, that guy, have you ever noticed this? So these were like, my time that I was away because it was late at night. These were the games I was pretty much watching, were these Lakers games.
Yeah.
I pretty much just saw all 3 of them. I felt like in every game, Anthony Davis was on the ground 6 times each game. Like that scares me. That really I was thinking when this season started that my MVP pick was going to be Anthony Davis. I thought if, this is his year, if he can do it, the Lakers are winning the championship. That's the narrative.
Okay.
But man, like you're a big guy and going down that much, you're going to hurt yourself. And we know your history of injuries and like,
they're all vulnerable, man. They're all vulnerable. It's a high risk, high reward situation.
You want to hear a crazy stat though? I took a note of this. I was making some notes on my plane ride back.
Yeah.
So Carmelo, so far in these first few games he's been playing as a Laker.
Yeah.
He's hitting 67% of his threes.
Oh man. Okay.
Like the dude,
what's his average? What's his career average?
It's progressively increased. I think in more recent years, like he did all sorts of stuff like when he was at the peak of his powers, but using a skill set in a very specific way. I felt like on Portland that last season on Portland, he was making a lot of threes and that was his role on the team. Right.
Yep.
So it seems like if he could achieve that on the Lakers, like he,
he's an asset. He's an asset in a whole bunch of different ways because he can also go ISO and be quite comfortable,
taking the shot,
either taking the shot or making sure he gets a foul.
Yeah.
He'll get points.
Do you want to, we could use that as a segue.
All right. Hit me. It's already used.
Yeah. Cause it just, when you were talking about, getting fouls, I'd love, to talk about a guy who's not going to the line.
Okay.
This dude usually averages 9 free throws a game. And so far in the first 3 games on his team, he's had a total of 9 free throws. Nash is saying that he's the poster boy of this rule change.
Oh dear.
And this is also a crazy stat, dude, that I found. So for this season, so far in the games played, the free throw attempts amongst all the games that have ever happened so far this season are down at an all-time low ever in the NBA.
Yeah.
At 19 and a half free throws a game. So like that new rule, right, that they implemented, the whole
it's actually making an impact here.
It's insane, dude.
So
it's insane.
So is this okay? So this is two things here. We're really seeing the results of how a player plays.
Yeah.
Specifically James Harden. This is how this guy plays the game, and he's successful in the way that it has been played. Or the second is this the new rules, implementers or sustainers, the refs, ensuring and spotlighting in on a guy who they know plays this way, like, are we seeing it all the way through? Because even the game, who did the Raps play recently? Oh, DeMar was getting these calls all the time. Now DeMar's, he's done that. And he also was, I think, drafted the same year, but we haven't gotten it all the way. And so I'm curious if it's one of those things where, like many other calls, you're just going to miss some. There's some calls that are going to go the other way. Or like, yeah, what do you think here is are they spotlighting in on James Harden?
Well, there's a few. I like James Harden, he is the poster boy. Take it as a compliment, dude. I mean, you created something that like you kind of
to make it so you couldn't play.
Yeah, you hacked the system of the NBA, You found a way to put up a lot of points.
I guess.
I mean, think about like the years where he won MVP and like high scoring, or like the scoring awards he's had, and Steph Curry, I felt like in recent years was adapting that a little bit, using a little bit here and there. Trae Young uses it a ton. Luka Doncic likes to use that shit too when he started. And
what do you think? What do you think the next thing is going to be? What do you think the next rule or thing that they need to adjust or reconfigure going to be?
There's a rule I like that's in FIBA. So when the player,
like soccer, footy,
no, the
FIBA,
the
international play,
the international. When a player is on the fast break.
Yeah.
How in the NBA, so you'll see a guy who like gets out ahead and then the defense does like a hard foul on them.
Yes.
Just like completely denies opportunity. In international play, you can't do that.
As in it's an automatic to the line, or you just can't do that. And what do you mean you can't do that?
So if you foul it's like a decision, like it's violation of the sport,
right. So what happens? What are the consequences if J.R. Smith, who's playing internationally and forgets how to play because he's now a professional golfer and he does this on the court? What happens?
It would probably be like an egregious consequence, more egregious consequence, could be a technical, 2 technicals kicks you out of the game. It's just they found a way to really de-incentivize players doing that such rule.
Hack-a-shack.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in the NBA, because like just some of these great opportunities that are kind of denied to us of these, amazing plays, you've already lost, that opportunity. I don't know. I think it would smooth the game out just a tad. Because I already think it's in a really good place. Like the games I've watched so far this season feel really fluid.
Yeah, they do. But there's also been some crazy blowouts.
Oh yeah, totally, man.
Did you watch any of the Raptors games?
That I caught like a bit of highlights here or there. I watched the one. Darn it, Van Vliet had a chance to win it.
Yeah, with, Chicago.
That was against the Bulls. Yeah,
dude,
man,
Chicago. I watched that. What did I tell you about Chicago?
4-0, man.
That's a good team. They look good, man. They look really good. They're all shooters. I still feel the way I feel about Zach LaVine. But I do think that he's rubbing off on me because I'm just happy for DeMar DeRozan's success, And
Totally.
and Lonzo's a really great player, and I just love that dynamic. And then you got Vucevic. It's awesome. You've got some young guys who make boneheaded mistakes, and it was so great. Like, I gotta say, to see the Raptors at the end of that game when they were down like 20 a few different times to be in it for the last shot of the game. Like, that's fantastic. Man. That's something to reward. Like, you got to clean up a lot of errors, but you also got to make a lot more shots. Like, they're not going to win if they miss. Nice to see Gary Trent Jr. making threes, because you're going to need his offense. Yeah. So Scotty Barnes, man, he's going to be a really, really dominant force. And to think he looks like as big as OG is now, and he's only a rookie coming in.
That's insane.
I'm so stoked, man. I am so stoked to see this Hercules. Just like, he'll be a behemoth. It'll be very scary to go up against Scotty Barnes.
And he defends all 5 positions. Like,
yeah.
The way there's a fluidity I love about the Toronto Raptors defense. And it's just like smoke, man. I feel like, when the team comes in there, that's the imagery I'd have for it, because you have such length and such versatility, such quickness, that, a lot of players I feel in games, which I was seeing that a bit in that comeback. I mean, Chicago, I felt like let off a little bit, but this defense on teams, it can wear teams down, and it's overwhelming. And if a certain player doesn't have enough experience to handle that situation, you're getting turnovers and you're creating opportunities. And before you know it, you have Toronto with, VanVleet taking a shot to win the game.
Yeah.
Or tying it. I can't remember where the points were, but yeah, this Bull team, man, that seeing Lonzo Ball and DeRozan, like the combo of those two is so cool, man. I don't feel like there's anything in the league quite like it with their skill sets.
It's very neat, but you're also seeing a little bit, kind of all of them expecting the ball, because they've been so used to being that player for their, previous teams.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see kind of how they move forward with that, just in terms of who's getting the ball and when are they getting the ball, because, and very likely it's going to be game by game, but you've also got a new coach, and the coach is new to the team. So there's so many new, fresh parts of this thing. I just like it. I think it's going to be awesome this year.
Dude, they have a 97.1 defensive rating.
Whoa.
I think it's the best. Whoa. If I was looking at the score when I checked before I got on the flight, I think it was like the best defensive rating in the league right now. It's incredible. Awesome. I mean, you have to keep into account that they played the Pistons twice, the Pelicans once, and then the Raptors.
Yeah, we're only 5 games in. We shouldn't be all hot and bothered.
So their next 6 is the Knicks, the Jazz, the Celtics, 2 games against Philly, and then Brooklyn. Well, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think it'll be
a good test for them.
They can swing, and they'll learn a lot. And the other cool thing too, dude, this 4-0 start for the Bulls.
Yeah.
Tell me, when was the last time the Bulls had a 4-0 start?
When Michael was there. NBA. Or Derrick Rose. No, I was going to say maybe Derrick Rose had a season.
Michael Jordan.
His last year?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I bet you none of the players on that team have had a 5-0 start.
No. Well, DeRozan might. Did the Raptors ever win?
Yeah, well, okay, so maybe DeRozan, but no way did Lonzo. No way did Vucevic. I don't think Zach LaVine's ever been on a winning team.
I can't remember. Wasn't there one season where the Magic, they won a couple games in a row, like 4 games in a row or something like that. But I don't know if Vucevic was on that team.
Speaking of the Magic,
at that point,
Jalen Suggs is looking pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't. Have you watched? I
just
haven't
highlights.
Watched many
highlights. He hit like 6 threes in a game. Wow. Yeah, he looks really confident, really like chill, and he doesn't look too out of place, which was nice. Obviously, we know that he's a good player, but when I think about what he is capable of too, the Raps didn't need him. Well, like when you look back at that, the Raps didn't need that player.
Yeah.
We were all pretty.
This is a way better fit.
Torn up about not getting. Yeah. Only because the projections are that, right? I gotta say though, I was pretty high on Scotty Barnes before.
You were in the driver's seat of the hype train. That
Jalen Green, though. Jalen Green, man, dude, he's on another level,
dude. Rookie of the year candidate right here, man. Jalen effing Green, dude.
Okay,
he had a 30 freaking point game already.
Wow,
already dropped 30 points. Went 8 of 10 from 3.
Whoa,
Whoa. I watched some highlights of that dude, and his offensive skills, they're just so there. Like he
gets up so high.
Fast. Yeah, dude.
It's nuts, man. Like he better be in the dunk contest this year because he's got a show,
Yeah, man. Yeah, he for sure. Well, I don't know. These guys usually, when it comes to that, like in the rookie seasons, are like, no, I gotta be focused in. They don't.
But you're playing for
guys that do it.
You're playing for the.
You're not
Rockets,
winning any teams.
Man. Yeah,
it's yeah.
Do it for the
this
fans.
would be so good for the Rockets if they have a
dunk contest winner,
that dunk contest winner, and a 1 or 2 seed in next year's draft.
That would be really good. Yeah, it would be.
It would be in good shape.
So another guy, I'm thinking will probably get a ton of votes. Evan Mobley's looking good too.
He's looking really good, man.
I don't think that Cleveland Cavaliers team's gonna be able to manage throughout the season. I think they're gonna have problems. They're gonna run into problems. But Evan Mobley, he just looks like he's gonna get a lot of time to do what he does because he's really good at it.
And I feel like right now they're really incentivizing him on the defensive end. Very simple, making him be more of an asset. I'm really surprised when I watch these Cleveland, look at seeing some of these games, like mostly looking at highlights this past week.
Yeah.
Because fuck, man.
Yeah, you got to be honest. Yeah, tell us what you really see.
So busy. So I'm looking at these freaking highlights, and every time I'm looking at a highlight of a Cleveland game, it's like Jared Allen is just gumming up a bunch of points. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you're like the fucking, scoring the most out of, anyone on this team. So it's cool. It's really cool. But I don't know. I'd love to see more of the two of them in tandem, how they work together and how that size works together. And,
Taco Fall.
Yeah, Taco Fall on that team, man. He's
they just put their forest of trees out.
Yeah, he's looking pretty swanky. But man,
pretty special.
The one guy that I gotta say I have seen that I'm like, I don't know, dude. He is blowing my mind.
All right.
Blowing my mind. Let Staples Center on fire 2 nights back to back. Ja Morant, man. I think Ja Morant, I saw the Clippers game. I saw the Lakers game. He put on muscle. The dude looks bigger this year.
Nice.
He's dominating in the paint. I think he's probably got to be like one of the top scoring. All of his points, dude. He scored 40 points against the Lakers.
Wow.
He was, I think, in like somewhere like the high in the 30s or something like that against the Clippers.
That's pretty cool.
Scored so many points in the paint, dude. So many points in the paint.
And you think he'll have a shot at MVP? I mean, it's 5 games in.
I don't think, MVP, but I would put everybody who listens to this podcast on the radar. This is the player to watch this season. I think this kid is going to blossom this year. We're going to see some from Ja Morant that maybe lead to the future, that he could literally be one of the top 10 players, if not maybe even the top 5 players at some point.
Man, okay. Well, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Hot take alert.
I was actually kind of taken aback, dude. And I'm thinking, like, because, it was him and Zion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And two different trajectories right now, man.
Oh,
Two
way. Do we even talk about that?
Trajectories.
What? I don't know if we have enough time to talk about Zion and
it's insane.
What our expectations are of him.
The Ordinary Podcasting Network is excited to announce that we have launched a merch store on our website. The store is full of ordinary swag, including t-shirts, hoodies, and hats. You can pick out something awesome and support your favorite podcast today by heading over to ordinarypodcasts.com.
I got one thing I want to say though before we leave. I got a hot take.
Okay. All right.
So this,
I'm listening.
This grinded my gears, man. This flipping grinded my gears.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, like this past week, it's been busy. I've been a lot of travel. And so sometimes I'm sitting around, waiting for things like flights or whatever. And I'm on my phone and I'm kind of bored. So I'm looking up like news.
Okay.
And this whole past week, every single day, there's been in the Canadian news, there's been this story about this freaking guy who lives in the shadow of his father, who blew up this amazing company. His grandfather started it and his father made it into this super big success.
I have no idea where this is going.
Daddy's shadow. He lived in his daddy's shadow.
Okay.
And he just is trying. Guy knows nothing. Edward Rogers. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh,
have you seen the news
well, you've been
this?
in Toronto, so okay. I have caught wind of this. Yes. But tell our listeners.
So his grandfather started Rogers Communication, which is this massive. It's one of, if not the biggest telecom company. They just bought Shaw here in Western Canada for like a bunch of billions of dollars. They're a massive company. And so they been having like middle school drama in their boardroom this past couple weeks, like weird things like pocket phone calls and hearing in on conversations and mutinies that are happening. And it's like what in the hell is going on? It's really just it's just depressing. It's honestly just straight up depressing. A company of that magnitude to see like this kind of like ridiculousness. And so obviously this guy, he's just trying to show how much of a big deal he is. And I'm seeing him on the news and I'm just like, whatever. And I'm just trying to focus on the things that I enjoy. And what comes across me, when I'm putting together notes yesterday about this, putting together some notes yesterday for this pod, and this article pops up, and the article says, dude, report ex-Rogers chair strongly opposed new deal for Raptors Ujiri.
Yeah.
Did you read this?
Yeah, I did.
So
what's your take here? What?
This guy, man, this guy is literally lighting things on fire. Like this guy almost, this maybe isn't a take. It's more of a, I'm letting you know why I'm mad. Because I was feeling this coming into today. And it's just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous that this guy almost, Masai was like, what the hell? Like he was saying like, Masai comes at him arrogant, and there's this entitlement about this Edwards Rogers dude and what Masai has to behave with him in a certain way. And he's saying that the other dude, I forget his name, the young guy,
Bobby Webster,
he
could run the team. Right.
Yeah.
You didn't need Ujiri, and you didn't need Ujiri's like long-term. We don't even.
Are you insane?
But hold on a second. We don't know how long this extension is. That was never made public.
Well, it wasn't made public, but however, I mean, Edward Rogers leaving is going to be a really good thing. That's what it seems like.
So he left. He's
He's
the board of directors, right?
He's no longer kind of associated, I think, with any kind of relation at this point moving forward. He's relieved of his duties, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And Masai Ujiri, that will hopefully help him, or not help him, but he'll feel more comfortable, being with Toronto, having that guy out of the picture, and they can work out some new deal. And there's that other dude who owns a big stake in, was it MLSC or whatever?
Lewicki or
no, that Tannenbaum or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, Jeffrey Tannenbaum.
He's a good, he loves Masai.
Or is it Larry Tannenbaum?
Something like maybe Larry Tannenbaum, but he always says like that. He, they have a good relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and if he's the next guy in command and that relationship strengthens, well, there could be really good things. And Masai is the culture.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The identity of the Toronto Raptors.
Absolutely. And if the board understood, as it sounds like they did, that as well as that culture and how successful that was because you won, the fans are also that culture. So if you got what this Edward Rogers, wanted, this is not a smart decision. So I don't care that he might come off as arrogant to you. I don't care if you don't like this guy,
Yeah.
Because maybe you want more power than you already do, Mr. Rogers.
You wear so much money and you feel like that's what Masai's offering. He's asking for too much. Are you kidding me? You don't see his worth. He bought you a freaking championship.
Yeah. And now you got Scotty Barnes. So hang on.
Yeah.
I know.
And that was Masai's decision. Bobby Webster alone would not have made that. He would have picked Suggs.
Probably.
We would have been with Suggs. And initially I would have been happy, but then you know what? Right now I'd be in deep regret, dude.
Because Scotty Barnes was the right Scotty pick. Barnes. But Scotty Barnes in Orlando,
gross.
Yeah.
I'd feel bad for him because that's not a good culture. He wouldn't succeed.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my hot take.
Very nice. Shoot. Well, nice. Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. I think I'll be really quick. Charlotte, I think, is a team that I of course watched all sorts of different highlights of the Boston Charlotte game. And that went to overtime. That was an amazing game. Tatum had 41 points. I'm at the point now that, I don't want Smart on my team. I'd like a better point guard. Here we are. But
I hope you don't feel like I pushed you there.
No, you did not. You did not. I'm just a little tired. And the other thing I want to say though is it's kind of cool. I thought this game that we could see these two teams, if they were a playoff matchup, that could go 7-game series.
That'd be pretty cool.
Charlotte is really good, and I think Miles Bridges is because I was thinking about this so I looked up. Charlotte has two guys, Terry Rozier and PJ Washington.
Okay,
they're injured. They're out right now.
Okay,
so Miles Bridges is getting more minutes. He's putting up more shots, and he's hitting those shots, man. He's playing really well.
That's
really,
awesome.
Really well.
Yeah. So and we all know LaMelo is going to get better and better. So
he's still good. He's still good, man.
He's such a good facilitator. And even watching when I was watching the same game when Ish Smith started going off.
Yes.
Also, one of the best names in the league. Ish
I know, right?
Smith. LaMelo was you could see he was really rooting him on. On the bench, ready to come in. It was great. It was great to see that happening.
Yeah, amazing culture there.
It's good. It's good. It's really good. And I think they're undefeated too right now.
I think they lost one. Last I checked, there were 3 teams. It was Chicago, the Warriors, and the Jazz.
Okay.
Teams going into tonight, but we'll see what that's cute.
Sweet, man. Well, glad to have you back, and let's do it again next week.
Love it, man.
All right.
Liquid smoke.